עליתי ארצה באתי את הדרך לא שכחתי שבה הלכתי אני ותמדתי אם טפנו ונשנו צרורות אז בידינו מי על האתון ירכב ומי בשתי
Shalom, 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 and welcome back to the 12 Cities in Israel podcast. This is the only positive podcast on the state of Israel and the people, the fun, the food, and the culture of Israel. This is a special episode of the podcast. It's our 10th episode. But before we get into that, let me read you a couple of messages from our sponsors. Our first one is from iConnect. iConnect, engagement with Israel that earns you rewards. Earn points and connect with Israel with articles, games, quizzes, polls, and more. So what exactly is iConnect? Well, iConnect is a social gaming platform where you can play, earn points, and receive cool prizes all for absolutely free. Their goal is to help you stay connected with Israel no matter where on the globe you are. Now, why should you play? Because iConnect introduces you to a unique way to acquaint yourself with all things Israel while working towards winning once-in-a-lifetime experiences. So head on over to www.iconnect.co.il. That's www.iconnect.co.il and start playing now. Our next ad is from Israel Phones. Israel Phones is the leading provider of communication devices for people traveling to Israel. Israel Phones offer SIM cards, MiFi devices, which are mobile Wi-Fi hotspots. My wife just bought one. Travel products, and serves the connectivity needs of tour groups, synagogues, schools, community missions, study programs, and individuals, supplying you with international prepaid SIM cards, cell phones, and USB portable modem hotspot rentals. So right now, and this is awesome, right now, because of watching this show, Israel Phones will give you a free SIM card, which is a $15 value if you spend $30 or more on their site. All you have to do to get this deal is to use the coupon code 12 Cities in Israel. That's the number 12, Cities in Israel, all one word, no spaces when checking out on your next order. For more information on what Israel Phones can do for you, and to get this great deal, please visit www.israelphones.com. That's www.israelphones.com. Yeah, go over there, check it out. I set up that deal. The people at Israel Phones are wonderful. My last time in Israel, this past April, we got one of their modem hotspots. Amazing, awesome. Never went without a signal. It was really great. And these two. Okay, so these are our sponsors. These are people who help support us. These are people who help make it possible for us to bring this show to life every week. So since this is episode 10, that means for around 2.5 months, we've been slogging through and doing this show. And this show, episode 10, is going to be the appreciation show. So for this episode, what I'm going to do, and I was struggling trying to figure out what to do for episode 10 to make it a little bit special, to make it stand out from the rest. And what I decided to do was this. I came up with this idea, and that's to just give shout outs for about an hour and little backstories on why I'm appreciative of all the people who have helped in this journey, which is 12 cities in Israel. But first. So, in my last episode, episode 9, My Soft Jewish Center was the name of the episode. I started the episode sipping my coffee, which I'm going to do again. So I got immediately, right after posting it, right after putting it up, within, the time that it takes to watch the episode, I got a comment on YouTube. Best episode yet. Show us the damn coffee. So, without further ado, this is the best coffee on the planet. It's Jacob's. It's Kronung. It's an instant coffee. Now, I was a coffee snob for years. And, you had to have it brewed. You had to go to the right place. You had to have the right beans, blah, 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 whatever. And then I was told, no, we don't really do that here in Israel. This is what we drink. And it's actually not Israeli. It's Polish. And a really wonderful friend of mine, Basha, when she saw that I had it, she was like, oh my gosh, this is the best coffee in the world. And it really is. It's got like a hint of chocolate. And for all you coffee snobs out there who are just spitting on the ground because I even just dared to bring up an instant coffee as the best coffee in the world, check yourself, because this stuff is amazing. I drink it twice a day. I live on it, and hey, it's the best. So there you go, Peter. That's this is the interaction. This is the 12 cities in Israel community. You comment, next episode, you wind up on the show. So Peter, that's it. I'm going to show it one more time. It's Jacob's Kronung. To all you people, if you buy out all of this, I'm going to be really ticked off because I live on this stuff, and it's probably about $15 a jar US. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get it. Business opportunity, someone. I'm serious. Business opportunity. So, all right. So this is episode 10. This is the episode where I give just thanks, and I'm appreciative to everyone who's helped me on the journey along the way. First, I would like to tell you the probably one of the people that I'm most appreciative for is my wife, Stephanie. This is not the obligatory. I'd like to thank my wife. No, this is actually very sincere. And the reason why it's so much greater than just because this is interesting, and you guys are going to laugh. And the minute she hears this, she's going to be pissed. So you have different kinds of support. You have emotional support, you have financial support, and you have just personal support. Well, the personal and emotional support has been on the lean side. I love you, but let's be real. You've told me to be realistic about this project far too many times. So, hey, but all is forgiven because I understand from the outside it looks like just a fool's venture. But the thing that balances the scales, and there's this really interesting thing I read, or no, actually it was a video where I watched about familial support and entrepreneurship, and how most entrepreneurs do not get support from family members and friends until after, where they said, oh yeah, I knew you were going to do it all along. Knew you were going to smash it out of the park. But in the beginning, it's always, are you sure about this? Are you sure? You think it's a good idea? Well, that is, so honey, it's a normal everyday reaction. But what balances that out, and what's amazing, and why my wife is absolutely, no, that's probably the wrong phrase. So I normally use this phrase, which is, it's really the cat's ass, and it's been made fun of on Saturday Night Live or some other show, but it's a real phrase. And the cat's ass in certain parts of the country means that it's like the bomb. It's awesome. Don't know where that came from. It's probably some ridiculous Eastern European, whatever. Like it's as difficult as two logs on a hillside. You know what I mean? They never make sense in English. But the reason why I am so appreciative of her is because she has gone specifically out of her way. So as a family, we pool money, okay? Just like just about every family. I'm sure there are families that don't pool money. This is mine, this is yours. But we pool money, we pool funds, we do all kinds of stuff. But she has pulled money aside from our money and specifically said, this money I'm giving you for your show is from me. It's from me. That's an enormous statement. That's a huge statement. It's a grandiose statement of support. And I don't mean grandiose in the negative way where someone's peacocking or something like that. I mean, it's just in abject sincerity. And it's tremendous. And it's why Stephanie Sahno, you get the top of the list on appreciation. Next, who else would I? Well, next, obviously, the person that I am most appreciative of would be Bigosh. Rachel, who was on the show for the first, the first 8 episodes. It's been so long. Episode 10. Who was on the show for the first 8 episodes and who has been my right hand in terms of producing just about every aspect of this show. All production ideas have gone through her. She traveled with me when I was in college to Ben Gurion University. She has been instrumental, no questions asked, above par. You couldn't ask for someone with just a greater zeal, commitment, everything. She's a rock star. Thank you so much, Bigosh. And good luck to you in your future endeavors. Hiccup. Sorry about that. On-air hiccups. I wonder, do they hiccup on the radio? Probably. But they probably refrain their hiccups till the commercial breaks. But I do the commercial break, so I get no hiccup break. All right, so Bigosh, yes, you have been tremendous in terms of ensuring that everything that I do. What a lot of you don't know is that I wound up loving Hebrew. Okay, so I was a Jewish studies major at City College of New York, and I loved Hebrew, and I wanted to do more with it. But now I'm going to get a little personal here. I do not suffer, and this is important. I do not suffer with mental illness. I got a little touch of the tism. No, I have had difficulties. I'm going to take a sip of coffee because I'm really struggling to figure out how to phrase this so that I don't sound batshit. Wow, that's fun. I just accidentally swore. So, all right, sorry about that. And I'm not gonna bleep it. But because I'm being very personal right now, and it warranted that. So I'm agoraphobic. According to the Veterans Administration of the United States of America, I am agoraphobic, and I have general anxiety disorder. So when I told Bigosh, who's been my partner through most of this, she was like, how you go, you meet people, you interview people, you talk to people. We walked all over Israel, and I continue to do it. And it's because I've decided that that's more important to me than my anxiety. And that is simple, but not necessarily easy. So there are a lot of people who suffer. Maybe they suffer to a greater degree than me. But I don't think there are degrees to anxiety, because the physical reactions are the physical reactions. And there are physical reactions to anxiety. And some people say, well, my anxiety is worse than yours. It's not a contest. You have anxiety. It's how you approach your anxiety that changes how you react to it and how you deal with it. And it takes discipline. It takes work. It takes a specific set of tools to deal with it. And the reason I bring all this up is because of the appreciation that I have for the next person who has been integral to the 12 Cities in Israel journey, and that is Charlotte. Charlotte Strauss. 12 Cities in Israel would not exist without you. So I went to Israel. I told you guys that I went to Israel with school on a study abroad program to go to the thing called Ulpan, which is intensive Hebrew, at Ben Gurion University in southern Israel in Beersheba. So I went 1 year, went to Jerusalem, never went to the wall, went nowhere else in the country except that one trip that school made. And they filed us onto a bus and we all went together. Spent 1 month in Beersheba. Beersheba is awesome, but it's kind of pathetic that I didn't go anywhere. And I was embarrassed. I was disgusted with myself. I had the opportunity of a lifetime. And I did very little with it in terms of opportunity. I had tremendous opportunity for 1 month to do all kinds of amazing things. But what I didn't realize at the time was I was doing something that had traditionally been done in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So what a lot of you don't know is that, or maybe a lot of you do know, is people used to take, they were like sabbaticals. So they would go out west. They'd go to Arizona. They'd go to Nevada. They'd go to New Mexico. And from east, from the cities. And they would go out there because the air was better. The air was cleaner. A lot of pollution back then. Industrial pollution. And people would go and they would get right. But they would, it was more than just getting physically healthy. It was the embracing where you are, embracing the peace and calm of where you are. And I really got the opportunity to do that and didn't realize that until I went back the second time, the next year. And the reason that happened is because Charlotte and I spent hours on the phone, hours, talking about how I went to Israel and did nothing. The catalyst for us deciding to do this was a random run-in with Charlotte on campus. Charlotte had basically graduated, was picking up a couple of classes here and there at the end, and I ran into her just randomly on campus on a day when she wasn't on campus anymore. The chances of me running into her were just astronomically large. Wasn't going to happen, but I did. And as fate, the universe, God, whatever, brought it together. Our paths crossed, and I told her about, basically, there's no way around it. The shame that I had at not doing more with the opportunity I was giving of being in Israel. And she said, go back and film it. Go back and take a log of it, do a video journal or whatever. And that eventually, as you see, if you've gone onto our YouTube channel, turned into 12 Cities in Israel, the travel show. And I couldn't have done it without you, Charlotte. Thank you so much. So those two people, Bigosh, Rachel and Charlotte, are without them, 12 cities in Israel would not exist. Honey, I love you, my wife. If you hadn't specifically given money, I would have gotten money somewhere else. But without those two people, 12 cities in Israel wouldn't exist. That's not fair. Without the support of my family, I wouldn't have been able to go. So, yes, those three people. I'm not getting in trouble. So that's big appreciation. Huge 10th episode appreciation. I wish I had awards, and I wish they were here because I would give them awards like at, graduation and stuff like that. So that's another coffee sip. Sorry. That's basically the people who helped me create 12 cities in Israel. Now, there are a number of other people who helped out along the way. There are a number of other people who helped out when I was in Israel. So let's take a look at that real quick. So I'm in Beersheba for the second time. I have a group of students one of which, Kira Yates. What up, Kira? She was with us everywhere. Christian Mosley, he was with us everywhere. They're both on the episode in the beginning role where you show us in Haifa. They went up to Haifa with us and just went all over the city and helped us basically film everything we could. They went out to a couple of they went out to our last shoot, which was up at the monument, up at the top of at what feels like the highest point in Beersheba. There's this big memorial monument right outside the city. They were there, and it was awesome, and they were tremendous. Who else? There's someone who's she's enormously huge, and she opened so many doors with her. She opened so many doors for me. Malka Reisner. Malka Reisner is the international liaison for the city of Beersheba. And she gave me ideas. She gave me tips. She gave me access. We went and filmed at this thing called the Southern Lights Festival in Beersheba. And it was, if you watch the episode, it's the last third of the whole show. And it's just amazing. It's these artistic creations that are all done in light. And they're phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not going to tell you that much about them. I want you to go watch the video. It's pretty great. And speaking of that video, I have to give super duper 100% hugs and thanks to the 1,500 plus people who have watched that video. Thank you so much for getting our ranking up. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of the viewers. So there was a progression. There was a progression on what 12 cities in Israel became. And let me tell you a little bit about that. So this episode, this appreciation episode should really actually be called the backstory episode, because you're getting a lot of backstory into how 12 cities in Israel came into being. It might be boring for some people, but I think it's important to acknowledge all of these people because all of these people did so much. So 12 cities in Israel was, on paper, nothing more than an idea when Charlotte and I hammered it together. Then Bigosh came on board. Then we got on a plane and we went and we did just filmed everywhere. Because what a lot of people don't know is all of that B-roll of people walking and stuff, you got to go somewhere to do that. And we went to Tel Aviv, we went to Haifa, we went to Jerusalem, we went all over the place. And we took all kinds of film or video. And Then we came back. We slammed that together. That released on YouTube. And I kind of felt a little bit lost. I was like, okay, what do I do now? Well, I could wait for money to come for it. And it wasn't at all. Like at all. There was no, oh, it's a nice idea. Boom, nothing. So I had to occupy myself. Plus, I also had to keep the buzz rolling on the show. So what I decided to do were these vlogs, video logs, on YouTube, where I try to give travel hints, travel tips, information. And you can catch a bunch of those. Some of them, I mean, I'm going to be honest. The beginning, I look at some of them and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's horrible, the lighting. But I mean, it's a process. It's progress over time. You get better, you get better equipment, you get more comfortable in front of the camera. But I was doing these vlogs, and the reading that I did to try to get guidance on how I should set up my channel, how I should set up my vlogs, kept mentioning evergreen. Don't think you're going to be an internet sensation. Don't think you're going to be a YouTube sensation. And I always got really frustrated. Okay, because my videos only had like maybe 20, 30, 40. I think the biggest had almost 100 views. And I think that was the Airbnb in Israel, which is a fun video because it shows, I mean, some of the most beautiful Airbnbs I've ever seen. Plus the Haifa one, which is actually one of the coolest videos that I have, has less views than all of them. But evergreen is basically the concept that you are going to put something up that stands the test of time, that stands as relevant in 2 years as it does now. So one of the videos I did was on dehydration. That is more evergreen than the video I did on Israel phones. Because plans change, information changes, pricing changes, what's available changes, but dehydrations when you're in a hot climate stays. So I was impatient. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm not getting these views. I'm not getting these views. And then I started doing, then I took time off because I was getting frustrated. No sooner had I taken time off. Well also school started, the semester started. It was basically a big summer project, and every summer I would work on it. And then last summer I just took time off from doing the vlogs. I wasn't seeing, an increase in viewership. I wasn't seeing an increase in subscriptions. So I was getting frustrated with it. I am so appreciative of my viewers because all of my videos are in the, high hundreds. The Beersheba travel episode, the full pilot, it has over 1,500. Yeah, it's not a ton, but it's a lot. And that means people are being influenced by it. So it's fun. So I had taken time off from the travel vlogs and wasn't sure where to go next. And had been watching, and yes, bite your tongue. I had started, I'm embarrassed to say it. No, I'm not. It takes very little to embarrass me. I started watching Joe Rogan and his podcast, and I became fascinated with it. And that catapulted me over into different podcasts and watching different individuals and the way that their process, method, general, overall vibe just differed, and how personality was king, and became fascinated with it and thought, it would be really cool if we did. And boom, the more I spoke to people about it, everyone said, oh my gosh, yeah, you should do a podcast. And That's where we are now. So, and at this point, it is important for me to hit you with our next sponsors. We're at the half hour mark, so I'm going to read 2 more ads. Our first one is from Neviot. We have grape today. Neviot flavored water. Nature at its best taste. Neviot delivers you with a true combination of health and pleasure based on Neviot natural mineral water, one of its kind in Israel. It's enhanced with 5 B group vitamins. It's naturally sweetened. It is low in calories, only 35 to 40 calories per 8 fluid ounces. There are no preservatives, no color additives. It is available in delicious, I love this, indulging flavors, apple, peach, and grape. If you're in Israel, you should be drinking Neviot. For more information, check out their website at www.neviot.com/en/home. That's www.neviot.com. neviotglobal.com/en/home. Again, this is grape. Stuff's amazing. If you want to get it in the U.S., there is a place you can get it. You can go to Makolet Online, and that is our next sponsor. Makolet Online's main goal is to make Israeli groceries and Judaic products affordable and available to everyone in the USA and Canada. Their online store carries items that are unavailable in most places in North America, things like Tahini, Israeli chocolates, frozen borekas, and the Neviot water that we are drinking here today. At Makolet Online, you'll find your favorite Israeli goods or simply enjoy brand new flavors. All of their products are kosher, and most are manufactured in Israel. If you want the taste of Israel delivered to your home, visit www.makoletonline.com. That's www.makoletonline.com and order today. For an added bonus, if you use the code 12 cities in Israel, that's the number 12 cities in Israel, one word, no spaces, you will receive 15% off of your entire purchase. So again, visit www.makoletonline and order today. And today, from Makolet Online, we have an absolutely gluten-free tahini bar. It is I'm going to read the back while I show it to you. The best tasting snack, bar none. Are you fluent in tahini? That's awesome. If the only tahini you know is the one you use as a dip for pita or as a key ingredient in hummus, prepare yourself for a tasty new treat. Our tahini bar borrows from the tradition of ancient halva makers who first recognized tahini's tantalizing potential as a dessert. Oh, and did we mention it's gluten-free? So up your tahini game, or should we say raise the bar? What? This is awesome. Yeah, this is going to get torn apart after the show. Don't come to my house. But you can get that on Makolet Online's website, so definitely go there and order today. There are 2 other people that I totally appreciate. One, Makolet Online. You guys are awesome. You guys have been giving me some of the greatest stuff. So I went to Israel, and I was just addicted to this this syrup, and I showed it a couple of episodes ago. It's called Vitamin Cheek, and it's a fruit syrup that you could pour in water. Polish, there's a Polish one like it. Remember I was telling you about my friend Basha? Hold on, coffee. Ooh. I get overwhelmed and just really want that. So basically, what you do is you take this syrup, very little bit, like about that much, and you pour it in water. And the marketing behind it is to get kids to drink water. And you don't have to use a lot for the flavor to come out. And it's more about the flavor than the sweet. So it's amazing. This stuff is amazing. And I was like, where can I get it in the United States? I need this. I have to have this. Because you can't get, are you ready for this? Iced tea mix. I went all over the place looking for iced tea mix because I used to drink and live on 4C green tea iced tea mix, which I don't anymore. But I could find bottled tea. I think it was Fuse or something like that. But I couldn't find iced tea mix. And the woman that I was asking spoke very little English. But she said, you mix this in water. I was like, okay, all right, whatever. And I took, because Neviot comes in these enormous bottles, which are yay. So what I would do is I would take this, I would drink the Neviot, and then I would refill it with water and pour vitamin chicken. And I used to drink, what was it? They have an apple one. And I used to get made fun of, dude, what are you drinking, pee? Because it literally looked like urine. Didn't taste like it, though. It tastes like apples. And so I found this place that had it, started getting more stuff from it. Eventually, I was getting like 10 bottles a shot. So I was spending like $100. And wound up developing a relationship with these guys. And eventually, Liam, you rock star. You are awesome. And he sent us a box since we came up with this together. We came up with this idea for showcasing some of their products. And it's cool because this show is all about Israel. And I'm going to just entice you. Someone watching this is going, Tahini bar? Oh my gosh, why am I still here? Let's go to Travelocity. I need a ticket, which is true. You need a ticket. Go. So, and then Neviot. Neviot was so graceful, so wonderful, absolutely wonderful in the fact that they wanted to be a part of the show. And Neviot, anyone who goes to Israel knows exactly. It's like Poland Springs saying, or Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? It's that big. Saying, yeah, we'd love to be a part, please. So you guys are wonderful. Everyone at Neviot, everyone at Makolet Online. For the second half of this appreciation hour, here at 12 Cities in Israel, I have to give the biggest, hugest, loudest shout out to Reuven of the Revivo Project. Now, for those of you who don't know, if you don't know the Revivo Project is, you've heard them before because you heard them at the beginning of this episode. Reuven has given 12 cities in Israel explicit permission to use the Revivo Project's music with all of our stuff. That's amazing. When he said that to me and I got off the phone, I literally almost cried in appreciation. It was the most wonderful thing. One of the most wonderful things that anyone's ever done for me. Because there's a lot of trust that goes into that. To take someone's artistic content and say, here, associate my artistic content with yours is just a beautiful thing. It's so many feelings. There are not enough words to capture that. Now the cool thing about it is, so the Revivo Project is Mizrahi music. And for those of you who don't know, and this is the fun part about the appreciation, is I get to tell these little stories. So there are different groups of Jews. There are tons of them. One of them is the Mizrahim and the Sephardim. And the Sephardi and the Mizrahi, they listen to music with a little bit more Middle Eastern flavor. When you think of Jewish music, you usually think of dun 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 dun. You know, the what the heck is it called? I'm thinking of these two sisters and that song Chitty Beam, Chitty Beam, Chitty Bum in Yiddish. But yeah, you think of klezmer music. That's what I'm thinking of. You think of klezmer, you think of Eastern European music, but there is a wide swath of Jewish music that has nothing to do with Eastern Europe and is influenced greatly by the Middle East, the Mediterranean, Africa, all of that. Greece pulls in a lot of really vibrant elements, and when it's sang, it's tremendous. And the cool thing about the Revivo project is a lot of their music videos are these gatherings of men generally, because that's traditionally the environment. But I've been to a Sephardi wedding where everyone sings. Yes, the men are singing, but also the women are singing. So don't go there. But the Revivo project is such a beautiful lens into Israel musically that it's an honor. It's an honor for them to be a part of this. So thank you, Reuven. Thank you, guys. Baruch Hashem, you guys are awesome. And where are we now? Okay, so I got all those people down. I got my family. I got the people who were involved in. I got my. Sorry, drinking coffee again. I'm guilty. So I got my wife. Throw my son in there. Hey, Bob, couldn't have done it without you. He's actually set up a lot of this stuff. I got Bigash. I got Charlotte, both of whom were integral in developing the show with me. I got Malka. I got... Who else? I know I'm going to forget people, too. I got Reuven. I got my sponsors. I thank my sponsors. You guys are awesome. Shoshana Goldlist, don't forget, I got to thank you. She is from iConnect, and she suffered through my hiatus where there was probably doubt as to whether or not I was going to keep doing this, and you are a rock star for standing with me. Thank you so much. Mazel tov on your new baby, to you and your husband and your whole family. I have someone very important that I have to thank, and it's someone that I appreciate greatly. It is Shani Greenstein. So I told you about how I was, suffering with some mental issues. So when I started school, when I went back to school at the beginning of this journey, I was in a shell. I was in a, I was lost to myself, and I was lost to the world. And I was unable to climb out of my illness. I was unable to climb out of my head. And Shani Greenstein helped me out. She raised me up out of that. And for all of you who feel as if you can't get out of what feels like a hopeless situation, always know that there is going to be someone there. And for me, that person was Shani Greenstein. I love you tremendously for that. You are a part of my family and will be forever because of this. The amount of gratitude and appreciation that I have, again, cannot be put into words. Pale it. You were the first steps in me becoming who I was originally again. And I appreciate that. And I love you for it. Another person, two other people who are also, three other people who are also very important. And I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for them, are Roy Middleman, who scooped me into the Jewish Studies program at City College of New York, and who, even though he had reservations due to just some differences of opinion on Israeli policy, stuck with me and supported me, which shows a great individual, because a lot of people are harnessed and hampered by their political opinions and unwilling to step outside the box. And he did for me, and I love him for it. Achi, you're awesome. Amy Kratka. Oh my gosh, how do I even? I mean, there were so many discussions back and forth about Israel, about her experiences. For those of you who don't know, she went to Israel after high school, lived for a year in Jerusalem, gave me tremendous insight, and always gave me wonderful conversation when it came to Israel, and also introduced me to her family. I can see because of her sister, who is the greatest eye doctor on the planet. Amy Kratka, thank you. Also, speaking of Amy Kratka, and this is a public forum, so I'm so psyched I get to do this. So I read a bunch of books on conversational, the conversational arts, chatter, so to speak. And one of the things that it says is that you're always supposed to make mistakes. And I made a mistake in our last conversation, and I told you during that conversation that one of the greatest things that I've realized about my life is that failure is a constant, and to embrace failure and to hope for at least one failure a day. And that was my failure for the day. I delved a little off course conversationally and was smart enough to steer it back. And thank you for the opportunity. But more than that, thank you for all the time that you've invested in me, in making me a better person, a person capable of doing this. And lastly, on the academic grayscale, no, that doesn't even make sense. On the academic roster of people that I need to show appreciation for this super duper 12 cities in Israel 10th episode appreciation extravaganza, Terry the Boss Wasserman. You are a rock star. Now, for those of you who don't know, Professor Wasserman is one of the greatest minds on biblical history. She is a scholar of the Hasmonean dynasty, which for me is like the most fascinating time in history, let alone the history of Israel. For those of you who don't know about the Hasmonean dynasty, the Maccabees, they were the Hasmonean dynasty, and it is such an awesome story. It puts Game of Thrones to shame. And we were talking about that at my graduation, and thank you for just challenging me in ways that I didn't know that I could succeed in. That goes for all of you guys, but Terry Wasserman, thanks. You really are one of the greatest minds, and knowing you makes me smarter. And thank you. I feel like I'm getting a little misty over here. What is going on? I love this. This is fun, but it is very personal. It is very exposed. So, there are a lot more people. There are so many more people. One of the people that I can't forget. There's two more people that I'm going to do. There's also Lila, who ran, who was one of the people who ran the OSP, who you are awesome. If you're watching this, you are awesome. Just know that. She basically ran the OSP, the overseas program, and kept us academically and physically in check. So she's awesome. But the last two that I'm going to do are two people who are so important to me that it's not even funny. Not a day goes by that I don't think about you guys. The first one is Neely Kane. Neely Kane, every time I come to you, I have a problem, and I'm sorry. But the reason I come to you is because I know that if I come to you, you'll fix it or give me a solution. You are so Neely Kane was on my first overseas program trip, and she was the student liaison, and her job was basically to ensure we all were where we were when we needed to be there, had all the tools to be successful at getting around the city, and gave us a large toolkit. What? I'm butchering this. No, basically what she was is she was responsible for making sure that we had a wonderful time. And that doesn't necessarily mean hand-holding. She made sure that we were prepared for all the trips or going anywhere in the city, both informationally and logistically. So she had all the information. Neely, how do I get to, you want to do this, and this? Neely, what do I do when, oh my gosh, I know a person to call. I'll find out. I mean, anytime you had a question, anytime you had a problem, anytime you needed anything, Neely Kane was there. What's awesome about that is Neely Kane is also the sweetest person on the planet. She is really wonderful. Her smile light up a room. Holy cow. She's just awesome. She's a pleasure to be around. And having that mix made her amazing at her job. I honestly have to say, Neely, the second time I was at Ulpan, it wasn't the same. Yael, I love you. Don't get me wrong. But it didn't have that Neely flavor to it. So, and she has gone out of her way to help me, and her brother has also helped. She's roped her brother into it. Good job. Anytime I have a question about the show, one of the shows that's coming up, a show that I keep saying I'm going to do on the Israeli healthcare system. She stayed on Skype with me for an hour, talking to me about it, and started researching stuff in the middle of the night where she was. And you're a rock star. Thank you. I love you. From my family to yours. If you ever need anything, just reach out. Now, I am going to close on my appreciation, and I haven't mentioned someone. And this person is probably the most important person in my life next to my wife and my son. And I'm taking a sip of coffee for this one. This next person is my best friend, my brother, Achi, in my heart, Moti Biton. Moti Biton lives in Beersheba, Israel. I met him because he runs the dorms that I was living in. Dorm is Meonot. And I needed something, and I went downstairs. And I think I told this story before, but I'll tell it again real quickly. So I wear a kippah, boom. And I usually wear like athletic shorts and a t-shirt like this. And I've always found it interesting that you don't often find many Jews who dress like I do, very casually. In my travels and experiences, I haven't seen too many who observant Jews who dress like I do. So I had to go downstairs to get something, and I go into the office and I say, "Excuse me," and he says, "Just sit down. I'll be out in a minute." And a man comes from the back, and he's dressed exactly like me, and he has the biggest smile on his face. And he says, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And from the moment I met him, from the moment we started talking, there was something. And he became my brother. And Moti Biton made me a part of his family. And this past April, I went with my wife to his son, Oran's wedding in Beersheba. And the honor is so great. I couldn't give him enough to thank him for making me a part of his family. And Moti Biton and his wife Iris and his son and 2 daughters, you're all a part of my family. And his brother and 2 sisters and his mother and father, whom I love, thank you. This one is making me misty. Because they have all helped on this show. Neely has helped on this show. Moti has helped on this show. The resources that I have in Israel who have been integral to me making this show, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 10th episode. Appreciation. Bonanza. On that note, now that I've thanked everyone, and I know I've forgotten about 800 people, just thank you. And to 100 more, okay? Let's keep this thing going. I love all of you. I have appreciation for everyone who's helped and everyone who's watched and everyone who's commented and interacted. I love all of you. And thank you. 12 cities in Israel would be nothing without any of you. Baruch Hashem. Okay, I want to tell you about 2 organizations that are very important to me. And they are organizations that I think that I donate to, and I'd like to let you know about them, and please, if you can, help them. The first one is Ale. Ale helps children with complex disabilities receive state-of-the-art medical, educational, and rehabilitative care in Ale's 4 facilities. In addition, Ale provides thousands of outpatient treatments annually. Without Ale, many of these children would be forced to spend their lives in hospitals with no opportunities for rehabilitation, education, and the love and warmth of a home, please visit www.aleh.org. That's www.aleh.org, and see if there is a way that you can help. Also, go to their Instagram page, check them out, follow them, get their numbers up. The next one that I'd like to tell you about is Schneider Children's Medical Center of Israel. And it is the only comprehensive tertiary care hospital of its kind in the country and in the Middle East, offering the full range of pediatric disciplines under one roof to all children from 0 to 18. Since its establishment in 1991, Schneider Children's has revolutionized the practice of pediatric medicine in the country and has been recognized as one of the leading pediatric institutions in the world. To see what you can do for them, please visit www.schneider.org.il/English or ENG, sorry. That is www.schneider.org.il/ENG. Help them out. I try to help them out once a month. They're beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful people who are doing work for beautiful people. Help them out. Do what you can, okay, and help them out. What I would like to let you know about also is that we're going to be going back to Israel. We're going to be going back to do interviews. We're going to be going back to film the full episodes for each of the cities. As you've seen on the monitor here on the slideshow, a bunch of those have come up. And we need to raise funds in order to do that. And what we're asking is if you can give us $2 by going to our PayPal page. By going to our website and hitting the PayPal button. That money goes towards buying tickets, lodging, transportation around the country, and paying for all the restaurants. So when you go and you do these episodes in the restaurants, the restaurant doesn't give you the food for free. You have to pay for it. So anything will help. Just stop by our website, and all we would like is for people to give us $2. If you want to give more, that'd be great. But any help would be appreciated. All right, so thank you so much for joining us for this 10th episode of the 12 Cities in Israel podcast. Now, don't forget to subscribe to our feed and become a part of the 12 Cities in Israel community. You can find this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify, and we'll be bringing you a brand new podcast every week, so keep your eyes out for that. Also, to help support this podcast, you can visit our Patreon page and become a regular donor. You can find that page at www.patreon.com/12 cities in Israel. That's www.patreon.com/12 cities in Israel. 12 cities in Israel. Also, please visit our YouTube channel, where you can see a video version of this podcast, plus other videos that we have produced, including our full-length travel episode on the city of Beersheba in southern Israel. While you're there, share it and subscribe. We want to get that subscriber number up. We're at I think 59 right now. I want to hit 100. Help me out. Check out our website, www.12citiesinisrael.com. You can check us out on our Facebook page and on Instagram, where every single day, we post a brand new picture from our Israel travels. All right, that's it. תודה רבה, להתראות, ויאללה ביי.
יחד עם כולם ננהג בעוף כיונה אל ענן. بشير يا حد نعبر